Several rescue ships with hundreds of migrants on board are stuck in the Mediterranean waiting for permission to dock. But Italy's new right-wing government has hardened its stance on migration. One German ship has docked in Sicily, but many on board have been refused permission to come on land.
After days of uncertainty and weeks at sea, this German rescue ship reaches land at last. A relief for some of the 179 people on board, but not all. Italy is only allowing minors or the sick and vulnerable to disembark, a move rescuers say is illegal.
It's not only the 104 unaccompanied minors, but all the people on board need a place of safety. By law, they have the right to disembark in a place of safety.
Italy's new right-wing government has toughened its policy toward rescue ships run by non-governmental organisations. They insist the countries whose flags are flying on the boats should be the ones to take them. This ship was granted permission to dock after Germany and France said they would receive some of the migrants on board. Italian authorities have not responded to repeated calls from 3 other rescue ships off the coast of Italy, carrying hundreds more people.
They are fighting 3 to 4 times in a day only because we are on this boat, and it's too difficult for us to stay on this boat anymore.
We are running out of food. We have food for the next 3 days only. After this, we might be requesting some emergency deliveries. I believe they are planned for Monday itself. It's a bit tight, so we hope nothing happens.
As conditions deteriorate at sea, these protesters are calling on the Italian government to open ports and ease suffering on the Mediterranean.
Well, let's go to the Sicilian dock hosting the rescue ship Humanity 1, from where Till Rumenhol of the German NGO SOS Humanity spoke to us earlier. I first asked him how quickly the ship was able to reach port after receiving the green light from Italian authorities.
Yeah, we were actually already waiting in the waters of Catania due to the weather conditions, which were worsening the last days. We had a thunderstorm in front of Catania, or in front of Sicily, and in the whole Mediterranean Sea. When we reached instructions to enter the port of Catania around midnight this night, we received a port for rescue and assistance operation, which is pretty unusual for us after rescuing people out of distress in the Mediterranean Sea. Usually we receive places of safety for the survivors on board, where they then can seek protection and reach safe land. This time it was different.
Yeah, well, minors and those in need of medical care have been allowed to disembark, it appears. Italian MP Abu Bakar Sumahoro described it as, quote, selective disembarkation. Now, Till, what I want to know is who actually made the decision, who was allowed off the ship and who was supposed to stay?
So the instructions for entering the port were coming from the Maritime Rescue Coordination Center in Rome, which also then was, basically facilitating us to enter the port of Catania. And then we had health authorities on board who decided who's weak enough, who's basically in urgent medical case and who's not. Because, as you stated, there were only unaccompanied minors, women and children allowed to leave the vessel. And among the adults, which were remaining on our vessel, there were just the weakest, the strongest medical cases who were decided to leave the vessel. Right now, there are still 35 people on board. They're held hostage on our vessel, not being allowed to disembark the vessel, not giving any access to their human rights.
Tell us how those people left on board are coping physically and psychologically.
Physically, it's fine. After the last days in rain and storm, the sun and the wind cover of Catania port helps a lot. But physically, the situation is tense. It is enormously frustration. You can feel it on board. The people are really not really sure what's happening to them. They have an uncertain future. They are afraid of being pushed back from Italy into international waters, or even to Libya. That's their greatest fear. We're trying to inform them that this for sure will not happen, that we are fighting for their human rights and fighting for the right for international protection.
Thank you, Till Womanhall, who's the head of operations at the German NGO SOS Humanity, who's joining us from the port of Catania in Italy.
Thank you.